Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that has a fever, and the only cure is some more of Axel Mania! Axel Mania! Axel Mania! This is episode 8 of Lost in the Midcard. We are hosted by SpiderDuck.net, and thanks to SpiderDuck.net, we are able to catch you on iTunes, and we are also on Facebook. Please subscribe to us on both of those avenues. You can find our links to both of those avenues on our Facebook page, facebook.com/lostinthemidcard. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett, a.k.a. JB Huskers on Twitter, and my co-host, as always, at Raw F Showtime on the Twitter. It is Matt Black. Matt, how about that end of Raw tonight?
Oh, the end of Raw was good, man. And, you know, I'd like to apologize to everybody ahead of time. Day late on the podcast, but, you know, you get current thoughts on Raw. I'm a little bit under the weather. My head's been crazy congested for the past couple of days. So if I randomly mute to blow my nose or I accidentally sneeze into the mic or something, I truly apologize. But thank God we got a great end of Raw, because it was a really slow 3-hour build-up to get there.
So when Matt doesn't laugh at my jokes tonight, I will just take that as he's on mute right now.
There you go.
Our top story of the day. This is a no-doubter for top story of the day, just because of how great this kid is. Connor Michalek. I hope I said that last name right. Connor Michalek is the not the latest, but the second to latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. He will be the first recipient of the Warrior Award. It was an award that was suggested by the Ultimate Warrior at last year's WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. And basically it is someone who has exhibited unwavering strength and perseverance, someone who lives life with courage and compassion, that embodies the spirit of the WWE Hall of Famer, the Ultimate Warrior. And no doubt this youngster, Connor, he lived up to everything that the Ultimate Warrior had described this award to be last year. Unfortunately, we lost Connor almost a year ago, just after WrestleMania 30. We lost him at a very young age, unfortunately, with an uncurable form of cancer at this part. But fortunately, to the generosity of the WWE with Triple H and Stephanie, they launched Connor's Cure, which is a fund dedicated to further the research of pediatric cancer, and obviously they have a donation set up there to also help with their research. And honestly, when they kind of broke down the Warrior Award here, my very first thought in my head was Connor, and thankfully that is what the WWE is going to do. Matt, I mean, obviously we know, both of our thoughts on Connor over this past couple of years are pretty well documented, but in your own words, what do you think here?
If it was for anybody else other than Colin, honestly, I would have had an immediate issue with the award, because if you go back and listen to Ultimate Warrior's speech, what they've kind of worked this award into is not what Warrior proposed to begin with. He proposed the Jimmy Miranda Award, and it was supposed to be a yearly reward to be given to long-term employees behind the scenes that don't really get the credit that is deserved, and the unsung heroes of the WWE and the wrestling industry. And they kind of morphed it in to change it to something else to suit their needs, and I'm cool with that. And honestly, I'm happy that it's going to a kid like Connor, because if it was anybody else, I probably would have trashed it as soon as they announced it last week, because they're really taking liberties with what Warrior said, and they're just changing it into their own thing to make it work. But for someone like Connor, I mean, it's definitely deserved. What a great story and a heartbreaking ending, and with an award like this, it's super special to them and their family, because Connor will be able to live forever, through the WWE Hall of Fame, and he will never be forgotten. And I think something like that is really freaking cool.
Yeah, that it's no doubt that that this is a great honor, and Connor's looking down with a big smile on his face, knowing that he's going to go into the Hall of Fame. He's going to, he'll be joined someday by a lot of his idols such as Daniel Bryan mainly, and Sheamus. There's a great moment between him and Batista from last year's WrestleMania. There's a great moment with him and AJ. Him and Stephanie. He touched so many people within the WWE, and then once his story was known and showcased throughout the world, there was no doubt that the world had fallen in love with Connor, and it's a great honor, and we'll coming up shortly with the WWE Hall of Fame, we'll get to see the story for those of you that aren't familiar. Definitely, especially if you have the network. Tune in on the night before WrestleMania or on demand, and make sure to check it out, because it's an amazing story. It's a heartbreaking ending, but the lives he touched and the time he spent with them is special, and obviously that cannot be taken away. Now we are gonna kind of switch gears here on a lighter note. Today we're recording on March 16th for publication on St. Patty's Day, March 17th. But you know what today is? It's 3/16. It is Steve Austin Day. Oh, hell yeah! It's also bad Steve Austin imitation day, but hey.
You just open up a beer for the working man?
I am opening up a beer for the working man.
What?
I am opening up a local brew by Blue Blood, a great Happy As ale. And Blue. Actually, they were ex-cops, ex-cops of the city of Lincoln, and they make some damn good beer. And that's the bottom line, because I said so. So a salute to Austin 3/16 Day. Why don't we just take the time and what was your favorite out-of-ring moment with Austin, Matt? And what was your favorite match of all time with Austin?
Out-of-ring moment, it was no doubt the brawl between him and Booker T in the grocery store.
Yes.
Was hands down my favorite. I've probably watched that like 100 times since it's happened, and it doesn't get old. It's freaking hysterical. And, man, favorite match? That's hard. I'd have... You know what? I'll go for his first title win against HBK.
WrestleMania 14?
WrestleMania 14. Because it really solidified that he finally arrived. And, all the months and years of build-up of, the birth of Austin 3/16 at the King of the Ring up until that point, you knew he'd finally made it. And it was a really, it was a special moment. And the match was good, too. So, I mean, you really can't. You say name a favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin match, and immediately like 10 or 15 pop into my head. It's really hard to pick just one, but without a doubt, favorite out of the ring moment, grocery store with Booker T, hands down.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you that that's one of my favorite moments. I think my favorite moment is the beer truck. That was something that was never done before. Obviously, Angle copied it. And copied it well
with the
milk truck.
Yep.
That was fucking hilarious. But Austin invented bringing all sorts of vehicles to the ring and a beer truck. He brought a beer truck. We thought he was just going to drink some beers. Nobody knew that he had a freaking hose that he was going to pull out and shoot beer onto the McMahons and The Rock. And
Vince trying to swim in the ring like an idiot.
That was pure gold. And that Austin will say himself that was actual beer for at least the first part of it until it turned into water. So there was actually some beer, a good amount of beer that shot out there into the ring on the corporation. As for favorite match, I'm gonna have to go Rock Austin at WrestleMania 17. The build-up and the match itself were phenomenal. It all started with Deborah being appointed as the manager for The Rock by Vince McMahon, and there was a little triangle going on between Angle, who was the champion, I believe, at the time. I believe he lost it at the Royal Rumble to The Rock, but there was a big little feud triangle between Austin, Angle, and The Rock, and Austin warned The Rock if Deborah got in harm's way, there'd be hell to pay, and sure enough, Angle put Deborah in the ankle lock, and that just started a 2-month whirlwind between those three gentlemen, which then eventually ended up for just these two gentlemen the final month leading up to WrestleMania. That was just phenomenal and put together so well by the WWE. If you remember, the lead up to it was the My Way Limp Bizkit video, but then the match itself was just pure chaos and insanity. JR on the call, it just made it even better, and even to top that, you had Paul Heyman on color commentary. So to me, that's my favorite match. Obviously, the heel turn was interesting and didn't play out the way we wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I couldn't pick it as my top match. It was just because of the screwy finish with McMahon and the Austin heel turn. I mean, it was great for the time, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, it really didn't work out.
Yeah,
like they were.
And Austin will say himself that was one of his regrets. Outside of walking out on a Brock Lesnar match, his other regret was staying with turning heel, and wish he would have just dropped Vince with a stunner right there at WrestleMania 17, because he was still white hot as a babyface. So
yeah,
So there you go. That's our salute to Steve Austin. Swig of beer for the working man. Oh, it tastes so good. We're going to take a quick trip back since we're a day late on this. We're going to take a quick trip back through Raw and SmackDown last week. Actually, Raw and SmackDown were, I don't know, would you agree with me on this, Matt, that Raw and SmackDown were pretty bland last week?
You didn't miss much, man. I know I said on the show last week, I was like, tonight's Raw, which would have been last week's show, really needs to pick up steam and really needs to fire on all cylinders to really kick off the road to WrestleMania. And it really didn't. And, man, I don't know. The fast forward to tonight, the ending of Raw tonight was really good. But the first 3 hours leading up to it, the show was fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, the show wasn't bad. But
just wasn't WrestleMania quality.
Exactly. It didn't feel like a WrestleMania quality edition of Raw like you come to expect every year. So, God, I'm really hoping next week's Raw is, ridiculous.
It's got to be. And we'll set that up once we break down tonight's Raw. We'll break that down here in a little bit. We're going to play a little hopscotch, though, through Raw and SmackDown last week, just kind of give you the high points and low points. Once again, Paul Heyman with another fine promo. And do you think the first time, did the mic cut out accidentally or on purpose? I want to say accidentally, but now that it keeps going, maybe Paul Heyman had a little brilliant idea.
I think the first time it happened, it was an accident. Mm-hmm. But I think now the fact that they've done it 3 weeks in a row, it's kind of turning into a running gag. And yeah. I think they're doing it on purpose to just annoy Paul. And I'm sure Vince is laughing hysterically backstage, and I'm sure he thinks it's great. But yeah,
that's some funny shit.
Yeah, I got him, pal. That was good.
Take that, ECW.
But when you have arguably the best talker in the WWE on the microphone, and he's trying to captivate the audience, the last thing you should be doing is playing with the man's microphone.
Yeah.
It points to the childishness of Vince McMahon. And for a 69-year-old man, I really think it's time for him to grow up.
I got 3 words for you. Oh, why Vince will never grow up. Big Dick Johnson. Oh, that's comedy gold.
Yeah, well, he's working for Lucha Underground now, so...
He is, and I love Lucha Underground. I might give a little book report on it once I get caught up. I am almost caught up. Kind of let you know who my favorites are in there, but the stories, the cut, the cinematography on the promos, it's a top-notch show. And I kind of thought, just as a little quick aside here on Lucha, I kind of thought, with me not being completely into the AAA scene or into the Lucha wrestling, I thought I'd have a hard time kind of getting with the characters, getting, with the majority of them wearing masks, trying to get their identities and not. But no, I mean, the storytelling, the identities, everything has been great with Lucha Underground, and I'm definitely hooked on that show. But I'll give a book report here once I get caught up. I think I'm about 4 episodes from getting caught up, 4 to 5. So with them being 1-hour shows, that's easily done. All right, Matt, we're going to let you get on a soapbox here. Because on Raw last week, we got a promo with Sting, and but there's a little something funny with someone talking, though, wasn't there?
Dude,
Did Sting have the cold you got now?
Yeah. When I heard Sting was going to talk last week, I was super excited. I was just like, finally, because they've had him being, just the very quiet, almost early 90s Undertaker-esque character, and he wasn't saying anything, and his actions and his facial speak louder than words and all that. But I'm like, all this time with Triple H trying to spin this as WCW versus WWE, I really want to hear from Sting's own mouth what he feels is the driving force behind this feud. So they take Sting's voice, and they decide to freaking tone it into something completely different. And if you're not really paying attention, you can't tell that it's him. But there's some points in that promo that you can totally tell it's Sting speaking.
Yeah, where the pitch kind of gets to normal for like a microsecond.
Exactly, and you can tell that it's Sting's voice. And there's somebody on YouTube, like a day or two after the promo, altered the voice of the promo and put it on YouTube, and you could definitely tell at that point that the whole promo was him. And I was just like, what are you thinking? Because this guy has never stepped foot in a WWE ring before to wrestle. And the first time you're going to let him speak is through like a freaking auto-tuned voice box.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't make him sound cool. It didn't help the character. It almost made him seem like a corny early 90s WWE joke. And I saw a lot of. I absolutely despised it. I was furious when that happened last week.
I saw a lot of Shockmaster jokes flying around in.
Well, a lot of people were referencing the Black Scorpion.
Yeah.
And I get the comparison, but you're trying to. If that was your wink and a nod to the consumer that's watching today, you failed. You failed tremendously.
I don't think they're smart enough to do that. I think
Triple H might be.
He might be, but I think
if that was what they were going for,
I think Vince
they were out
of
their freaking minds.
I think Vince is thinking that he's been gone for 14 years. Well, TNA doesn't exist, but
which is ridiculous.
He's gone for 14 years, so maybe I bet in Vince's mind, most of the population doesn't know what Sting sounds like, which is a ridiculous thought. But that's my only rationale of why they did that. But we might have a segment called the fucking stupid moment of the week, and that would have been the fucking stupid moment of the week.
They made up for it this week, though. But you had to be a part of the WWE Network.
Yeah, $9.99.
You want to hear Sting's real voice, pal? You gotta pay for it.
We got a little, well, I wouldn't say a clarity in the tag team situation. It was more of a muck-up, and apparently the Jobber tag teams win on Raw and SmackDown, which leads us to now 4 teams vying for the title. But then one of the Usos gets hurts his shoulder, so now he's uncertain for WrestleMania. And in a tag
in and get it over with.
Yeah, in a tag team where they should have just left it at Kid and Cesaro against the Usos now, it's really...
But that could have been a bigger problem.
Yeah, well, it's really turning into who gives a shit now. Get out of here.
I didn't give a shit to begin with.
Well, I liked the Usos and Kid and Cesaro build. You know, it wasn't obviously the greatest story of all time, but it was a good build for a tag team title, contendership that you don't see too often. And obviously, when those four guys were in the ring, it was some great fucking matches.
Honestly, I was okay with them adding the New Day into it because I think all three of those guys are tremendously talented. And they deserve.
If they weren't such losers.
Yeah, but to be fair, their gimmick might be kind of lame, but they haven't lost very much on the main roster. The faction as a group have only lost a handful of times. I'd say their win-loss record is probably like 90% win, 10% loss.
Wow,
so it's not like they lose very often. So I mean, I felt they were fine to be added in. Three-way would have been cool. They lost me when they put Los Matadores in there. Completely and utterly lost me. Like, if you wanted to bring out a team out there that could have beat the Usos, it should have been the Ascension. And I'm not the world's biggest Ascension fan, but I buy them with more credibility than I buy Los Matadores. I would have even bought the Primetime Players.
Yeah.
Than I bought Los Matadores. It doesn't make any sense.
Los Matadores is boring. They're good workers.
That stupid bull, dude. Vince loves that stupid bull.
That's the only thing that gets them half-ass over. Other than that, they're boring as fuck.
They're not even over. It's Vince loves the damn bull.
Well, a minor pop. They'll get a minor pop if they'll treat it. But I agree. I hate Los Matadores just because they bore me to death. And, they're teasing them kind of being heelish to maybe put an edge on them. And, I'm way past that point of caring, so I really don't give a shit about them. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Cesaro takes one of them out, and we could just get a New Day against Kid and Cesaro and call it good. But this is really looking like it's going to be pre-show now that Usos are out of it.
Yeah, dude. If the Usos don't make it, honestly, they'd be better off just axing out Los Matadores and doing New Day, Cesaro, and Kid.
Yeah, it'd be a better match by
open
far.
The show. And you do that in the pre-show, and nobody really cares, and it's not that big of a deal.
Or
I'm hoping the Usos are okay to go.
Or you don't have it as a pre-show, but maybe have the Ascension beat the shit out of Los Matadores in the pre-show and keep the title match on the main show, which, I think a title match should be on the main show regardless, but...
I don't know. They pre-showed the tag match last year, and it was I thought it was a great way.
It was a great match.
I thought it was a great way to kick off things before the actual show began. I would like, if the Usos aren't involved, I think it's going to take a lot of the shine off of this match.
Yeah.
Because, the Usos are the ones that gets, all the common fans excited, and everybody likes, their Young Buck style wrestling with the dives and the super kicks and all that. And I think without them in the match, the only thing they've got going for them is there should be a smart crowd at WrestleMania. There's a smart crowd at WrestleMania every year. So I would expect the smart crowd to be behind Cesaro and Kid. So, the crowd might save the match, but... Man,
New Day's gonna get booed as shit.
Which sucks, dude. I hate that. Just turn them heel or something. Just do something to, give those guys the attention that they deserve. Mm-hmm. Because it's so unfair to three guys that talented to just be stuck in the position they're in right now.
Now, I know Kofi is not the greatest at cutting promos. I think Xavier's fairly good, better than average. But I think Big E can talk, and they just have not really given him a good platform to cut a promo. They give them bits and pieces, but you know, there's hope. But
Big E
you
can
know,
talk when they're not making him play a character.
Yeah,
or they're not making him play the preacher gimmick, or they're or just trying to be goofy or whatnot. That dude has ridiculous amounts of charisma.
I like it. I actually kind of like the preacher talk. I mean, it's different. You know, it's something. It's an added thing to kind of.
I don't think it's something that's connected with the audience though.
Probably not. I mean,
I think just letting him talk as him, I think would do worlds of good. You know, if you go back and you watch his stuff from NXT. And you watch him now, it's like two different people. Yeah, it's not fair what they've done to that guy.
And speaking of that, it's kind of interesting how the old NXT that was on the net is not on the WWE network. But I did find out I recently finally got back on Hulu, and I noticed that almost everything from NXT, from season 1 with the ridiculous obstacle courses, you know, all the way up to once they started at Full Sail, all that's on Hulu.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah, so I was actually kind of watching some of that a couple of days ago, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was a subscriber to Hulu prior to the WWE Network, strictly so I could watch NXT every week.
Yeah, I didn't get on the train until the WWE Network happened, so... But I'm glad I did, because obviously it's the best show in the WWE right now.
Maybe the best show in wrestling, period.
It's true. The second biggest story of Raw last week was Bray Wyatt calling out The Undertaker. He had an urn in his hands and thought that would be the way to get The Undertaker to come out. He opens up the urn, nothing happens, and he's laughing at it, obviously because he expects nothing to happen to it. But then all of a sudden it starts smoking, and we get some lightning in the arena and a message on the screen that says Undertaker is going to accept the challenge. And then we get some more auto-tune.
Nah, that was totally Taker's voice. They didn't really auto-tune him up.
There's a little something added onto his voice there. That wasn't. It sounded a little.
It sounded echoey. Like
it sounded
he was actually backstage and he just announced that over the loudspeaker.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as Sting, but it was still kind of. Different.
No, it wasn't even close to being Sting because you could tell it was The Undertaker.
Yeah, there was some shit added to it, but
you know what I mean?
Anyways, Undertaker has accepted.
Well, it looks like Undertaker's pitching for another Johnny Cash entrance at WrestleMania.
Looks like it. The man comes around.
Yep.
So the rumors of us not seeing Taker until WrestleMania probably going to be true. We only got one more Raw until that happens. But
dude, I bring him out on Monday.
They need to, because it's already going to be a hot show. So, the other big story of the evening, the end of Raw, which obviously we all saw coming, but as the Authority was kissing Orton's ass in the ring at the beginning of the show, Orton basically talked shit to all of them, basically saying what was on his mind, but he was acting like he was playing, obviously. But, you know, Seth Rollins is buying it, so the rest of the Authority bought it. He even told Seth Rollins exactly what he was going to do. And sure enough, Stephanie sends King the Big Show home for being the large goofs that they are. Rollins told J&J Security to hit the bricks, and so that just left Seth Rollins and Randy Orton in their match against Roman Reigns. And sure enough, just as Rollins is looking to make the hot tag, Randy Orton pulls the old hand back, and we got to see some double birds. I wonder if that wasn't on the script.
I guarantee you it wasn't on the script.
They panned up pretty quick. I liked it though. I mean, come on, you got.
No, it was definitely. I felt it added a lot to it.
It did. And that's probably
it felt like it wasn't supposed to happen.
That's
and I feel stuff like that are help out.
Yeah, it wasn't on the script, so and that's probably why he got such a huge pop tonight on Raw too. So just because hey, he's doing something we didn't expect, and then he just went to beat the living shit out of Seth Rollins. And if you haven't seen that, then go to the WWE Network in about 3 weeks, and it'll be on there, and it's probably on YouTube right now. But definitely a great brutal ass kicking to end Monday Night Raw last week. But yeah, like you said, it's You know, if it's like I mean, I think I said this exactly a couple of weeks ago. If we were leading up to Battleground, okay, you know, this ain't too bad.
No,
but,
it's not that the shows are bad. My main issue is I hold the WWE from the post Royal Rumble Raw till the Raw at the night after WrestleMania. I hold this company in such a higher standard than I guess they're choosing to hold themselves to. It's incredibly disappointing to see the creative flounder like it is right now. I mean, as I said, it's not like the shows are bad. I mean, there's been we've seen some bad shows over the years, so I know I know a bad show when I see one. These shows aren't bad, but they're not Road to WrestleMania quality good.
What I think is, okay, let's kind of break it down piece by piece. Orton and Rollins, great. Cena and Rusev, great.
Until tonight.
Well, no, I'm just talking matches right now. Like,
look, don't get me wrong.
Wait, let me explain myself first. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar started off, got better. These are all great feuds. They are all great stories, but the progression, the creativity, and everything in between just is not there for it to be WrestleMania-like. They're all great stories, great feuds, probably going to be great matches, but just lacks that something that should put it over the top.
Here's the problem. I was talking about this with people online tonight. If you're not like a weekly watcher, okay, and you don't watch the product all the time, but you know you're familiar with the people, you know you've been a wrestling fan for 10 or 20 years or whatever, but you don't watch as much as you used to. But when WrestleMania season rolls around, you kind of peek back in and see what's going on because it's WrestleMania, and for someone to have watched the WrestleMania build up to last year. And, after Bryan got injured, they lost interest and they tapered off and they stopped watching. And they came back like 8 months later to look at the show. The first things first, look at the card on paper. The card is really good. I'm looking up and down the card right now. There's not a bad match on the show.
No.
All the matches on paper look great. The problem is the creative team has done a very terrible job of making these matches, which look great on paper, seem as important to the viewer as they should be. And I think that starts and ends with Vince. I think it's Vince's fault. But, yeah, looking at the card's not bad. There's not going to be a bad match on the show. It's just the way it's been booked and delivered to the audience, I think, is the main issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you look at last year, I mean, Daniel Bryan's Yes Movement is going to be known as one of the greatest Raw segments of all time. It's going to be in there. It may not be the best of all time, but it's in the conversation. People are going to remember that forever. What, outside of maybe tonight, what else on the road to WrestleMania has had that kind of magnitude? Does tonight fit in with that magnitude with Sting?
I thought it was a huge moment.
Obviously. And afterwards on the network, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Because it was literally Sting's first true time to get truly physical in a WWE ring where he finally took the jacket off. He got the wheel to bat around. He got to hit the Scorpion Death Drop, the Stinner Splash. I thought it was a really big moment.
Was that the first splash we've seen
since he came back? That was his first WWE splash. He's hit the Death Drop on Triple H, but that was the first Stinner Splash we've seen. I thought it looked great.
Yes, definitely, and it was a great moment. We'll get to that here in just a minute because we're going to talk about tonight's Raw. Raw 316. Oh, hell yeah!
Wish they would have brought Austin out tonight.
No shit. Another bad Austin imitation for maybe once I get more beer in me, it'll get better. I doubt it. But anyways, we start off the show with the Authority, and we are just a couple hours down the road from me in Des Moines, Iowa. And Des Moines, Iowa is just a couple hours down the road from Seth Rollins' hometown of Davenport, Iowa, and obviously a Seth Rollins chant to start the show, which was great because obviously, Seth has been good in what he's done so far this past year, and then obviously, you're a good heel when your hometown starts chanting "You sold out," and I've said this many times. I mean, he turned on in June. It's 9 months later. They're still chanting "You sold out." I mean, to me, that's a good testament of what Rollins has done as a heel so far. Basically, he is saying that basically all the Authority kind of kissed each other's asses to kind of suck it up, and then Orton came out and said that he's just gonna, in the end, he's gonna make Rollins look like a bitch, and just your typical standard little promo to start off the show. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Nothing too special, but a nice big pop for Randy Orton when he came out. Probably the biggest pop of the night. What did you think on that open, Matt?
I could see the finish of the night coming from a mile away.
There you go.
I didn't factor Sting into it, but I'm like, yeah, the Authority is going to look like they're having issues all night, and they're going to come together and beat down Orton at the end of the show. I know. Go back and look at my timeline. I tweeted it in the first hour. I knew that's where they were going.
Well, there was a rumor that Sting was going to be there tonight, and obviously a lot of Des Moines read the internet today because they chanted "We want Sting" at the end. But yeah,
because you went 3 hours without giving them to you, and you figured at that point it's either now or never, so we might as well chant for them. They could have done Sting and Triple H in a separate segment and done that in another one, but I mean it worked. It worked.
You got to give it to
I was cool with it.
You got to give it to Triple H and Stephanie. They kind of basically, outside of a little segment, couple of segments backstage, maybe just one segment backstage, and in the end they were not on the show. So, on times where they are oversaturated on the show, I think they were on for just the right amount.
And I don't think Triple H was on the show at all last week.
Yeah. First match of the night is Nikki Bella against AJ Lee, and 11-minute Divas match? What?
Dude, I thought this was an awesome opener to start the show. I thought the match was really good.
11 minutes? Wow. Yes, it was a good match.
Hashtag give Divas a chance, brother.
Somebody told me if it was Summer Rae and Cameron, you guys wouldn't be proud of that it was an 11-minute match. And yeah, well, that's because...
Hey, Summer Rae's actually really good.
Yeah, that's
if it would have been like Cameron versus Eva Marie, I would have been ducking and covering.
Unless it was a bra and panties match.
Not in the PG era, brother.
My God! 11-minute match, great match. Nikki Bella gets the win after a lot of TNA distractions, and I mean that literally. I thought
he didn't.
My God! I thought AJ was going to go over in this match and set up a whoever gets the pinfall wins the title match, and then after that, I thought Brie was going to get the pinfall and steal the title from Nikki.
Oh God!
I had it booked.
I hope they don't do that.
Well, I had it booked, but with Nikki winning, I don't think they're going to have that title on the line type of deal. I think it's just going to be a tag team match. Maybe Brie turns on Nikki at WrestleMania, just like Nikki turned on Brie at SummerSlam. But we'll get to that in the predictions next week, eh?
Yeah, don't get too far ahead of yourself, brother. I got some catching up to do at Mania.
Brother. We got a little backstage interview with Renee Young, the lovely Renee Young, and Kane and Big Show. Basically, Kane and Big Show both saying that they're turning their back on Rollins because he's a selfish little bitch, and if you bought that for 1 second, then you're a stupid little bitch. We got a match to put Ryback, a match to put over the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Ryback against The Miz. Basically, this was more of a, more of an angle than a match. Didn't last that long with Ryback getting over. Miz hits the skull-crushing finale on Mizdow, though, at the end of the match. So, I mean, obviously, well, I said this at the Royal Rumble, but Matt, obviously, Mizdow's turning at Mania, right?
Dude, I hate to say this because I was so into it a month or two ago. I'm over it. They've waited too long to pull the trigger.
I'm not over it.
I don't care anymore. Because I feel like they've emasculated Mizdow so much at this point. By the time he finally turns, no one's gonna care.
They should have pulled the trigger at Royal Rumble, obviously. Over it now, yes, but when the moment happens, it's still going to be a great moment, and it may even lead to Mizdow winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal there. We don't know.
I still think the person who wins that Battle Royal isn't even announced for it yet.
Probably Sheamus.
You're going to drink a beer for the working man fella.
Well, what was the award I just invented? The fucking stupid moment of the week, or
something along those lines. We need to have that segment. I like that idea.
Or maybe it just changes every week, but it's just called fucking something. But we had the fucking stupid moment of the week last week, and the contract signing for the U.S. title match on tonight's Raw gives us our fucking stupid of the moment of the week. Fucking, I can't even talk right now, and I've had half a beer. Oh, hell yeah! That didn't even sound like that sounded like Austin, just like the lawyer sounded Russian tonight.
Yeah, that was pretty awful, son.
For those who don't know, there was a no Lana tonight, and we were asked. There's a "Where's Lana" chant or some kind of Lana chant. Is she already gone for the movie now, or?
Yeah, she left right.
Or is that after?
She left right after Raw last week to go film this movie. I hear she'll be back in time for WrestleMania.
Oh, she'll be done by then, or?
I hear she'll be back on the road in time for Mania. So, I mean, how long can it really take to film this movie? It's a WWE Films movie. You might film it in like a day.
Well, typically it's 6 to 8 weeks, but I guess WWE films might be different.
Yeah, like a week. By
Walmart.
Yeah, by Mania it'll be done. Even if it's not, they'll be able to do it. You know why this was the what the fuck moment of the week or whatever the heck we're gonna call it? Because
we're just gonna change the title every week anyway.
Yeah, because this whole thing is they come out and they're like, "You're not getting the United States title match at WrestleMania," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. We're gonna add a twist into this. Something's gonna be cool. Maybe we're gonna get Hogan in there. I'm still holding out hope for that Hogan tag match.
Not gonna happen.
I know, but it was just like." But if you let Rusev sit here and say all this if you let Rusev sit here and cut this promo on you, we'll sign the contract and give you the match.
Yeah.
What? What? That doesn't even make any sense.
And I blinked and missed him signing the contract, obviously.
He signed the contract and immediately flipped the table up on Cena and took off like a pussy. Which really sucks because the badass Rusev has resorted to table flipping and running away like a coward.
On Raw, contract signings suck, but I mean, hello, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That was a good fucking contract signing.
Agreed.
The best part of this segment was JBL telling him he was from a community theater. That was probably the best part of that whole thing.
I mean, here's the word. Honestly, that makes the segment even worse. Because the commentator's job is supposed to sell you on what's going on in the ring. And when they're making it out to be a joke, how are we supposed to begin to take it seriously?
True.
So, I mean, JBL and Booker going to town on that guy. I know he was awful. But for them to acknowledge he was awful and to really, push that in front of people's faces about how terrible it was, did not give any help to that segment whatsoever.
But that's the way commentary is, like, especially when Divas matches, they'll start making jokes about random shit, talk about 1930s cinema or something, you know. That's just the way they are. But, it was good for JBL to point that out. If it wasn't on purpose, to accidentally point that out about how bad that was, then, hello. Vince is like, oh, that's a great Russian accent. No. And what was he doing wearing Brad Pitt sunglasses from Fight Club?
He borrowed them from Rusev.
We got we have a tag division segment on Raw where Kid and Cesaro got their win back over a New Day, and Los Matadores came in to bore the place up, and Cesaro jobbing for Torito. Come on. I was hoping for a fucking European uppercut on that little piece of shit.
Hashtag give tag division a chance.
There's a plug for the WWE 2K15 game. If you do not have WWE 2K15, get it this week, because if you buy it this week, you get the entire season pass of DLC for free.
Which is pretty great. It's like a 1 week chance to get like a Game of the Year edition. And, you know, so many games come out and do this, you know, after they've been released, they put out a Game of the Year and they give you all the content for the same price, not if cheaper than the game was when it originally launched. So you got a 1 week deal on at WrestleMania season. Go out and get all the content for free in no time like the present. You know, it's not a bad idea.
We got our interview that Michael Cole is teasing is very controversial.
Oh yeah, bro.
Brock Lesnar. I mean, it was a great interview, obviously, you know, but we've seen it before, and it was not controversial at all. It was good for what it was. It didn't stand out or was as good as some of his others, but, you know, I guess Cole called it controversial because Brock Lesnar ended the promo with, at WrestleMania, I'm going to fuck up Roman Reigns. I guess that's controversial, but... I
think the controversial part they were referencing was the fact that he spoke about his WWE contract.
Yeah, maybe.
And
he's going to take the championship one way or the other.
Yeah, honestly, I think that was the only thing that they could have been talking about.
Does that lead you to believe he's re-signing?
I think he's re-signing.
That's best for business.
I would say it's most absolutely best for business. But if you had to put a gun to my head right now and I had to be right, I'd say Lesnar is signing a new deal.
I love those little side vignettes with Lesnar, though. They're never, you know, when he talks, it's just like Rusev. When he talks, he has something to say, and those never suck.
No, and I wish, honestly, if he does resign and they keep him and he keeps the title or whatever, they need to have more stuff like that on TV when he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have the interview for the upcoming feud, or show him like working out in the gym, or just have packages on him, you know, to make it not as glaringly obvious that he's not on television right now.
Like, for example, remember when he went to WWE headquarters and just trashed the shit out of Triple H's office? That was great.
Awesome.
And then they used it in a
Hardy's commercial.
Yeah, that was great. I'm like, I remember watching that. We got more of the couple of participants in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Eric Rowan just getting the job from Big Show. Nothing to really see there. Move on. We got our latest WWE Hall of Famer, and personally, I love this selection. I've been a fan of this guy ever since I was watching wrestling. I was a fan of this guy. Then we all know him from the Monday Night Wars, and but even before that, he was the living legend, Larry Zbyszko. He's going to be the latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, great announcer, great wrestler, great heel, you know, and the moment he turned on Bruno Sammartino is one of the coolest things that happened back then.
Yeah, and I hear Bruno's actually going to be inducting him into the Hall of Fame.
Cool.
So, I mean, that'll be pretty cool.
Were you a big Zbyszko fan?
Not really. Most of my experience of Zbyszko was on the Monday Night War, when he was just, you know, doing commentary for Nitro. So, I mean, I didn't really see a lot of his in-ring work. But there's nothing wrong with him being in the Hall of Fame. I can think of a dozen people already in there that are less deserving than him. So
yeah, and I was watching that scene, but before I was back in the, obviously his time was 70s or early 70s, but obviously he was prominent in the 80s in the territories, and like my WWE viewing was Superstars back then, and that was about it. But I always watched a lot of NWA and some AWA stuff too, and I loved Flair as a heel, and Zbyszko was not right up there, but a much above average heel. Not one of the best, obviously, in Ric Flair's league, but I enjoyed when he was in the ring, and I actually I enjoyed his commentary. He added a lot to it, I thought.
Am I the only one that finds it extremely weird that they're still saying that Kevin Nash is being inducted this year, and that he's going to headline, and he hasn't been announced yet?
That is the expected final announcement, actually.
I find that to be you're going to announce he's going to the Hall of Fame 5 days before it happens.
Yeah, that's
really. I guess I guess since the Hall of Fame is sold out already, it doesn't really matter what order we announce them in. But I just think for someone who's going to be closing the show, I think it's kind of weird that they're saving his announcement for last.
It's better. I think it's better to save it for last instead of having so and so is the last. Give some big excitement for the final. Your final inductee. You've been building this for a month. With all the inductees, why not save a good one for last? So, we get to the Paul Heyman promo with Roman Reigns. Nothing really new there. Except for Roman Reigns' T-shirt that you can get on WWEshop.com. Obviously, I think I liked Romo. I liked
you
Reigns'
like Romo?
I combined Reigns and promo into Tony Romo.
He's going to be missing the handing the ball off to somebody next year.
Yeah, I liked Reigns' promo here, and he did a nice little impromptu for the crowd that was chanting Daniel Bryan while he was cutting the promo.
That was funny as shit.
Yeah, he's getting better. I've said this week after week on this show. We're now 2 months into the show, and they haven't cut us off yet. I don't know who they would be, but they haven't yet. The powers that be. Is that who we're talking about? But, he's getting better, and he's proven it ever since the little snowed-in Raw. I've liked it more and more and accepted it more and more of it being Reigns. And
I think finally somebody pulled Vince aside and said, "Hey, we can't make him Cena Jr.
Yeah,
you can't take this direction with this character. It doesn't work."
No,
and I think that's why it's starting to work now, is because they've changed the direction for the character, and I feel if they would have never gone in the Vince direction to begin with, I don't think the heat on him would have been nearly as bad as it was a couple months ago.
Yeah. There's some booze still tonight in Des Moines, but screw it. This is what we've got. Just like the old days. They gave it to us, and we're going to like it. So they're giving it to us. Let's like it. Nothing we can do. We're not going to get a yes movement. Just like it, enjoy it, and just quit bitching. Just enjoy it, because it's going to happen here very shortly, 13 days.
Yeah,
so.
But at this point, let's face it, WWE Universe, there's nothing we can do about it.
No.
Just deal with it and suck it up, and just accept the match for what it is, because there's nothing at this point that anybody can do to change it. So.
We switched gears to the Intercontinental Championship hot potato race, and we got ourselves a good tag team, 6-man tag team match. But it kind of just turned into it just fell right into the WWE formula for 6-man tags. It's good for a while, beat up on one guy, and then all of a sudden all 6 guys put in their finishers. But in the end, there's a nice little scrum after the match where Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose won the match over Roman over Harper. Jesus, I got Roman on the brain apparently. Over Harper and Barrett and Stardust. But after the match, I was a little fracas that went into the crowd, and in the end, R-Truth, who hasn't really been wrestling any matches during this whole little thing, comes back with the title again until the Bullhammer special was delivered on about everybody by Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett finally getting some heat back for losing so many matches, and he walks out with his own title finally. And so basically, not much really to add to that, is there, Matt? Like, it's just about the same old build to the ladder match.
I wish Barrett would have win a damn match before the pay-per-view.
He'll probably win on Monday Night Raw because he's probably not walking out with the title.
Well, that's my main worry. If he doesn't win again before WrestleMania, I'm really worried that they're gonna end up, letting him walk out with the title.
And that's the same old shitty booking that they've done with the Intercontinental title that they have for years. Book a guy like a loser and then he wins the pay-per-view. And in my opinion, it's Ambrose or bust for the winner. I'd be happy with Daniel Bryan winning, getting another, but no, I think it's Dean Ambrose or bust on this one.
Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, or Daniel Bryan. I'd be happy with any of them.
I wouldn't mind Stardust.
I would.
I don't know.
Honestly, why is he even involved in this match without Goldust? Why is Goldust regulated to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? It's not like somebody messaged me tonight when I was questioning this booking choice online. It's like, well, maybe it's because Stardust won at Fastlane, and I'm like, dude, Goldust won at Fastlane.
But nobody remembers that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how bad it is. If Stardust at least would have won at Fastlane, I can accept that this is done, but this isn't done. And the fact that they split them off and they're supposed to ignore it right now is just absolutely ridiculous. I hate that Stardust is in this match without Goldust. I hate that Goldust is in the Battle Royal. These guys should have been facing each other 1-on-1, or Goldust should have been in the ladder match too. And it's really freaking stupid.
Yeah, that's some odd booking right there to have them split up into two different matches, but hey, what can we do?
Say it's fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, it is fucking stupid. So, we get to the end of the night, and it's supposed to be Randy Orton against Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins has no friends left. But surprise! Ray Charles saw this coming.
I'm back booking again.
The entire.
Can I be honest with you, JB?
Viagra on a pole?
Hey, after I compared myself to Jesus on Twitter, Vince said, "Hey, I beat God on pay-per-view, so I'm gonna bring you back, and I'm gonna let you help me book WrestleMania." And I came up with this idea. Swerve.
That started out like Vince Russo and ended in like Eugene. I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant, though.
It's my voice, brother.
No, it's like you're purposely making Vince Russo sound like Eugene. So, in a way, it was brilliant. You didn't even think of it, and you didn't even know it.
I didn't even mean to do it, bro.
So, obviously, here we go. Authority beat down on Randy Orton. Randy Orton's getting that receipt. Oh, wait. This is Steve Austin 316 Day, right? Let me swig a beer for the working man.
What?
The lights go out, the crows fly off, and look who's in the ring with Randy Orton, but Sting. The look on Randy Orton's face was priceless when staring at Sting in the ring.
He's like, why the hell not? Back out, I'll take it.
A fracas ensues, and obviously an RKO and a Stinger are greater than about 7 guys from the Authority. We got,
because they were just all jobbers and Seth Rollins anyway.
It's true. And we got to see a Stinger Splash for the first time in a WWE ring, which is awesome. And great moment. Finally, like we were talking on Twitter earlier, I mean, this was a little bit of a snore fest for 3 hours, but we woke the fuck up at the end of Raw.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got to run to the WWE Network right away after this because, they were going to interview the winner between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. No, we're going to have Sting on the network. And so we all went to the network for about a little 2-minute segment, but finally we got Sting to talk in a WWE ring without a voice box, and Orton and Sting shaking hands. Definitely worth the switching over to the network to see, though.
Yeah, I was happy I tuned in. I wasn't going to until they said Sting was going to be in it, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll load up the network for that.
Oh, guaranteed. I was not going to care who won between Sting or between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins and hear them speak in the network. I could hear that on Raw every other week. So, yeah, definitely a smart move there. And I think it worked because the WWE Network was kind of glitching out for me there when it normally doesn't. So I think a lot of people try to tune in for that. Let's shift gears to NXT, the best show in the WWE, and that rhymed. We start off the match with my favorite tag team of Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, Big Cass. They do their usual little chants and such, and they come in and face the Lucha Dragons, and got ourselves a pretty good tag match, just pretty solid for the guys that are involved, and it looks like we're getting a number one contender to Blake and Murphy with Enzo and Big Cass.
Yep. It almost feels like Blake and Murphy are going to be transitional champions.
And you can't teach that.
Can't teach someone to be a transitional champion.
I've been waiting 8 months to say it, or eight episodes to say that. I finally found a way to put it in. We get ourselves a little bit of some brief catchy ups with Alex Riley, who decides to turn down his commentator job to get revenge on Kevin Owens, a.k.a. get his ass beat by Kevin Owens. But in the meantime, CJ Parker is going to be in the way, and they'll have a match here later on NXT. Another great little profile vignette with Kevin Owens, basically saying how he hasn't wrestled that many times in NXT, but he's been effective and destructive, and that ain't no lie. We get an NXT Divas match next up. Carmella, the Princess of Staten Island, against a returning Alexa Bliss. Kind of an okay match. I like Alexa Bliss, but I'm not a Carmella fan. Are you?
I like her finisher a lot. I think her finisher is pretty cool. I haven't really seen enough of her in the ring to really have an opinion on her one way or another.
I'm not a fan of her in the ring, and I'm not a fan of her on the mic yet, so I don't know.
She really hasn't had a lot of time to talk on the mic yet either. I mean, Enzo kind of, takes up that.
How you doing?
Yeah, Enzo's the star on the mic. I'm not ready to count. I'm certainly not ready to count her out yet. Like, I don't think she's terrible. So this is
NXT.
Yeah, like I said, I really like her finisher. So
Sasha Banks was a white meat babyface on her debut, and look what she's turned into. So obviously it's NXT, but right now I'm not impressed. But hey, that's what they're here for, is to get better. So
yeah, I was having a lot of dropouts with my WWE Network during that match, so I didn't get to see the whole thing. I didn't go back and rewatch it.
We got Alex Riley backstage interview. I don't know if he quoted Smashing Pumpkins, but he said something about rage and coming out of a cage. So, but still a good promo. And then we get CJ Parker making his entrance, and Alex Riley to a very nice pop from the WWE Universe. And you weren't a fan of Alex Riley on commentary, and I was indifferent. I didn't hate him. I didn't really love him, but in the ring, I'm kind of, he had a great shine with his face turn against The Miz, and then it just kind of fell off. So, I'm kind of glad that he's back in the ring.
Yeah, I thought him and Parker had a good match. I didn't have anything wrong. I didn't have anything wrong with it. I think he's much better suited in the ring than he is in the commentary table.
Yeah, he looks in fabulous shape too. So after the match, obviously a quick little match, about 4 minutes, that C.J. Parker got his ass beat by Alex Riley. It to me, it kind of seemed like a different Alex Riley than when he was with The Miz and wrestling. Post Miz, I think there's a lot of different steps, different just little things in Riley's game, and so I'm looking forward to kind of seeing him back in the ring again. After the match, Kevin Owens came in, talked a little shit, and so we're gonna get to that. It's kind of weird. Is it weird to you that there are so many branches on the Kevin Owens tree right now? Finn Balor's the number one contender. Sami Zayn obviously wants revenge, and obviously they've had a big history together. And now you got Alex Riley in the mix.
No, I think it's a good thing. I like when the person at the top of the card, when the champion has multiple people coming at them at the same time, because not only does it make the championship seem more important, it branches out into several possibilities of directions you can go, and it keeps things fresh. It's better than just doing one line and in the story jumping into another one. When you have three or so on going for simultaneously, you don't know what's going to happen next, and that's what's good about it. I mean, I think that's why the Attitude Era, main event picture was so great at the time, because whoever the champion was, whether it was Austin, Rock, Undertaker, whoever, Austin was after him, Rock was after him, Taker was after him, Triple H was after him, Mankind. It wasn't just a one-on-one thing the entire time. There were things in motion always, and it kept things flowing good. And I think Triple H understands that, and I think he's using kind of like that same formula on a much smaller scale down in NXT right now.
The way this keeps going, it's just, I cannot wait for him to take over the reins of the WWE, man.
You and me both.
Main event of the night, a great match. Only went about 10 minutes, but still a great match between two bright superstars, Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze. This time, Tyler Breeze gets the shine back with a win over Hideo Itami, so now they are tied up 1-1. So I would assume a rubber match at the next special, maybe, or something?
You would certainly think so. I was honestly shocked that that Breeze went over on him, but I mean, the match was good. It seems like Itami's the only one right now that's losing a bit of steam out of the NXT super group, as you can put it.
I don't think it's really losing steam, because he's in a good feud.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. We'll see how it ends.
I've been a fan of the feud so far. So, and Breeze is a great heel. I can't wait for him to further evolve. Tommy, obviously, with the language barrier, he's a little limited as a face, but get him a good manager, and things could really take off for him there too.
True that.
Let's close out the show like we normally do with TNA Impact Wrestling. This was basically the name they named the show. I don't know if they name every show, but I saw this in the program guide, and it was called There Will Be Blood, and it was very fitting for this show.
Yeah.
But a lot of heated rivalries came to a head on this episode of TNA Impact. We start the match with something that could really easily be the main event of the match, but last man standing, Eric Young and Bobby Roode. This, oddly enough, did not have blood, I don't believe, did it?
It did not, and honestly, with as much as the main event had, it didn't need it.
No, it didn't. They actually, we'll get to that in a minute, but Bobby Roode goes over on Eric Young. Bobby Roode actually kicked out of a pile driver on the chair, something that has incapacitated him before. He ends with a Roode bomb through the table they both kind of went through the table. Roode got up at 9. Eric Young did not answer the 10 count, so Bobby Roode wins that match. Great match. Phenomenal opener for Impact. Then we get Drew Galloway, who is the latest man to step up to the BDC. Another great promo from Drew. I'm really digging Drew's promos and really taking a lot of digs at WWE, isn't he?
Drew!
I think he's a little pissed that he was in the three-man band.
You think? Just a little bit?
Oh, man. He is definitely ripping the WWE, but I mean, he's cutting some great promos though, and putting him in with a top-notch group like the BDC is great. Great way to introduce him into Impact Wrestling, I think for sure. We got Drew Galloway against MVP, which was kind of an odd. I figured he'd go against Low-Key, then maybe work his way up to MVP, but it didn't matter because the match really didn't happen. The BDC did a beatdown, busted Drew's head open with a pipe shot from Low-Key, kind of getting a little payback from when Drew split him open, and that definitely made a pretty sweet sound when Low-Key hit the post with the pipe.
Yeah.
So are you liking how Drew Galloway's getting introduced here to Impact Wrestling?
I don't have any issues with it. We'll see how far a one-on four storyline can go. Eventually, he's going to have to get some allies.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the guy who's coming through the crowd and stuff right now. So they're like billing him as a loner. So he's going to have to get some friends and get some friends quick, or it's going to be a pretty one-sided feud.
What's Don't Hinder the Gender doing right now?
Oh God, don't even suggest that. God.
Swig a beer for the working man.
Yeah, you might need a swig of beer after you come up with that.
Oh, who would be a great ally for Drew Galloway at this point?
Oh man.
Somebody completely new, or somebody in the ranks?
I think their roster is kind of loaded as it is right now. I don't think they really need to bring in any more people until they can maybe acquire some more TV time.
Is there somebody that's being underutilized right now?
Gunner.
That stands out to you? Okay, yeah. Yeah, he was on the side of Team Angle there for a while, but
yeah, but they haven't done anything with him since.
Yeah, that could be and he's obviously got history with the BDCs. That makes sense.
So maybe Gunner, Drew, and I don't know, that Sergeant Chris Melendez guy, maybe.
Possibly. We get another a heated rivalry that comes to a head between Magnus and Bram. This basically ended in a disqualification and more of an angle to further the feud. And I know you've not been a fan of Bram, but did you at least enjoy this angle of where Bram went lost by disqualification, zip ties Magnus to the ropes, threatens to harm Mickie James? Did you at least like that what Bram did here on Impact? Why not?
I don't buy him as the crazy psychopath. Because if he's so crazy and unhinged and a lunatic or whatever they're trying to build this guy is,
he would have just done it.
Yeah, he's had 2 different shots in the last 3 weeks to lay Mickie James out, and both times he's chosen not to. So he's not a crazy guy. If a crazy guy would do it, so obviously he's not his gimmick. It does. I don't know. I'm not a Bram guy, dude.
Maybe he's fucking with Magnus.
It'll probably end up being a TNA swerve and have Mickie turn heel on Magnus.
Oh, wouldn't that be stupid?
Yeah, well, this is,
We get a mixed match here between, well, I don't know if it'd be mixed. I know, is Robbie E a man or a woman? I can't tell.
He's the worst.
Robbie E against Brooke.
They should have a Bram versus Robbie E match where the loser is fired from TNA, and they both double count out, and they can both go away. So,
but damn, Brooke looks good though, at least. So that was fun to watch.
Yeah, Brooke looks great. I got no issues with Brooke.
Ooh. Man, I don't either. But anyways, back. Oh, we got a show going on here. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Let me spell it out for you.
What?
Main event time. I was kind of surprised this was the main event, but it's been a good feud between Rockstar Spud and Ethan Carter III.
They built it up. It deserved the main event. Mm-hmm. They've been building this up for weeks.
And there always a lot of speculation, is Spud going to end the 16-month undefeated streak of Ethan Carter III? On paper, that'd be kind of stupid, and in the end, it was correct. Ethan Carter III comes out the winner, but great match, great storytelling. Obviously, Tyrus came out to cause interference. Ken Anderson puts a very awkward-looking mic check on the outside of the ring to Tyrus. That kind of both men kind of stepped out to the side, let the guys finish, but holy shit, was Spud busted open. Crimson Ric Flair. If we had a Ric Flair Crimson Mask Award, that would go to Rockstar Spud from last week's Impact.
Yeah, I thought it was a little too much, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, Destination America put up the warnings, which I have not seen since I have started viewing the show again. Basically warning you that this is going to be graphic in nature, and holy shit, there was a lot of blood. Hopefully Spud was okay after that. I'm assuming he was, but it was a hair versus hair match. Ethan Carter gets the win. Kind of acts like Spud earned his respect from this good, hard-fought match, but we all know better. Ethan Carter III's a dick, and it was all for naught. And he humiliated Spud in front of his family in England. This is a stupid question, but did you buy... I think Ethan sold it well, but were you buying it?
Me personally, no.
I wasn't either,
but the crowd seemed to buy into it, and that's really the most important thing.
I wasn't buying into it, but then it just kept going. So I'm like, I think Ethan stretched it out for good enough to where you obviously were like, yeah, right. And then, oh, wait a second. And then, oh, there we go. I think he stretched it out. I think the timing of it was perfect to suck you in and then do some more humiliation on Spud. And obviously, he didn't completely scalp him, but hell, those clippers probably clogged from all the blood.
Yeah. I was glad they didn't go to the extreme with cutting his hair when there was that much blood issue at that point.
Yeah. Obviously, hopefully everybody has been... hopefully Spud was taken well care of. I'm sure he was. I think everything's going to be great. He might be off TV for a little while. Who knows? But Rockstar Spud is definitely a great wrestler in TNA, and it's kind of cool to see this feud that I've been personally liking get the main event recognition it deserves. Next week is Lashley Angle. Matt, do you think Angle, after being in a suit and then finally ditching the suit to pursue one more title run, do you think this is Angle's time right now?
Yep.
Oh wait, you probably know the answer, don't you?
He signed a new deal.
Oh, okay.
You know, he didn't.
I don't know if you read ahead or.
he signed a new deal with the company. He didn't come back to.
But do you think this is the time right now?
Should it be?
I don't know.
No, will it be? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with the title changes and shit with TNA yet, but I mean, I've seen, you know, when I got back in with Destination America, Rude was the champion, Lashley won it.
I feel like as soon as they get back to the States, they need to put the tag titles on the Hardys.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
Because I feel like they're kind of losing steam with their ratings right now. And
are they?
Yeah, they are. And I think they need some very big time names to be holding their championships right now. I guess Angle fits that bill. You know, put the tag titles on the Hardys. I don't know who you put the X Division title on, but I mean, I think you need some. I think you need some marquee stars to be holding your championships right now to try to get some eyeballs back on your product.
He's not a marquee name, but you keep Spud off TV for a while, and what if he just makes a surprise return to cash in his Feast or Fired case for the X Division?
Could happen.
I wouldn't mind him being the X Division champion at this point with my 2+ months into my foray with TNA Wrestling, but you know, we gotta take it as it comes. Now, that's gonna put a nice little bow on episode 8 for Lost in the Midcard. I'd like to thank you for being patient for an extra day here as Matt got better, but I think with tonight's Raw, it almost was better for business.
Indeed.
Now, as we, what are you looking forward here to the current week here, Matt? And any kind of last words you got for the show here?
I know not to expect anything from SmackDown this week. So I hate to even say that, but I mean it's the truth. They haven't given me any reason to care about SmackDown in weeks. It's just been 2 good hours. It's been 2 good hours of wrestling. But as far as storyline progression goes, it's not there.
No.
So I mean everything falls in the next Monday night. And I really and truly hope that this time 1 week from now we're super excited for WrestleMania, because at this point, WWE, you don't need like 4 or 5 good Raws. You got 1 Raw left.
Yep.
So let's make the last one count, please.
Well, we're going to get a standoff with Reigns and Lesnar, probably going to end in fisticuffs. Maybe the return of Taker. I think Sting will probably be there another.
As far as I'm concerned, next week should be all hands on deck.
Yep.
I think if you're going to be at WrestleMania, you should be at the show next week.
Yep.
And I think no exceptions. I think Taker should be there. I think Brock obviously will be there. I think Sting should be there. I think everybody should be at the show next week.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And we'll have Trevor Oz from SpiderDuck.net, as we're always going to do the week before the pay-per-view, as we'll unveil our WrestleMania predictions. It'll be our second month also with, we'll keep a little running tally of how we do. And some other things to look forward to next week. NXT is going to be on the road for the first time, so it'll be interesting to see how that show kind of comes out. We have a mutual friend that attended that taping there up in Ohio, so excited to see how that turns out too. And plus, on top of WrestleMania, last Raw before WrestleMania, Lashley Angle next week on Impact. I think we got a good week of wrestling ahead of us, don't we, Matt?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We should absolutely have a good week of wrestling going into WrestleMania. So
who better?
Hopefully they don't let us down with that.
There's gonna be a lot of fucks next week if that's not the case. So, but that'll do it for this episode 8 of Lost in the Midcard. As always, I'd like to thank SpiderDuck.net for hosting us. That enables us to be on iTunes. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. Make sure to give us 5 stars and comment on iTunes as well. We're also on YouTube, and you can subscribe to us there. So that way you know when a new episode drops. And then, obviously, you can find all those links on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. You can find us on Twitter. Matt is at Raw F Showtime, and I'm at JB Huskers. And that's going to do it for this week. Enjoy the upcoming finale as we cruise into WrestleMania. Enjoy the week of programming. Should be a good week, and we'll catch you next week.